Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's daily brief recap. Recap. Here we are, making our way through the end of March. As I think we've sort of suggested here recently, it's going to be a tough market, my friends. Full disclosure, I'll just say this right off the bat. I picked up some of this hotel REIT for my retirement plan. And what the fuck? Are these guys going out of business or something? I mean, this is getting insane. Didn't put too much money. I think I said about 1,000, 1,500 bucks. If this thing can W, I will go and buy some more. But I ain't buying anything right now in this kind of market state. But I do these. We often joke on the site that when you get a little bit too big for your britches, the higher ups upstairs, the real higher ups, the people on the other side, they sort of bring you back down to earth. So I mean, I had to eat a lot of humble pie on this trade, and I'm getting my ass kicked. Thank goodness it's for my retirement account. So I have no interest in panic selling this thing. But man, I'll tell you, this is an ugly, ugly market. Um, and at the same note, I mean, it's almost comical. I was hunting longs on this Blue Apron and got stomped out twice. And look at what the darn thing's doing. So the gods are having fun with me right now. It is what it is. The point here, don't put yourself into a position where any one trade's going to blow you up. Take appropriate risks. Try and use some sort of methodology to justify your acting in the market. But at the same time, too, sometimes even your methodologies get you out of trades that actually end up working. It's the way it goes. Just got to roll with the punches. I think a lot of the conversation I'm going to be having with site people and probably with you and the public, this is almost a carbon copy of the crypto market that we went through 2018, where we're probably going to see the stock market and the economy in general just basically unwind for the next year or so. 2020, brutal market. Did talk to the audience today, though. We are starting to see some anecdotal evidence that we're closer to a bottom than a top here. And also, too, remember, we are now at the 18th. We should technically only have another couple weeks of this nightmare to go. From what I understand, and actually it's interesting, I shared another fun astrology video. And this particular with site people today, and this particular person said that it turns out that this first weekend of April is actually the big hurrah. So believe it or not, actually, we may even see further dumps as we head into this weekend. So as I sort of said there a moment ago, I'm not really in a big hurry to spend any money right now. And if anything, I'm kind of happy I've got money just sitting there because, I've been... in a weird sort of way, people, 2 or 3 months ago were moaning and complaining about how maybe they are going to get negative interest rates on their money. Bank's actually going to charge you to have the money in the bank. Well, I'll tell you, if we get to this kind of environment, you're going to be darn thankful that, hey, at least you even have the money at all. And I got a funny feeling that that's kind of the environment that we're in. So, yeah, you're getting crappy short-term rates. In fact, actually no interest on your short-term money in the bank. But just be thankful that you have the money actually in the bank and you can go buy groceries and pay your rent and stuff. What I'm really worried about, and it scares me immensely, is the people that are living paycheck to paycheck. People that live up to their eyeballs in debt. That's what I'm really worried about in this kind of market. So just go slowly. There's no reason to be risking your hard-earned money just taking one-off bets in this kind of market. Just go slowly, please, everybody. Our general conversation that I like to have with you guys is centered on this kind of chart deck. Crazy US dollars. Interesting how about a month ago there was a gentleman on the YouTube page who said that his point and figure charts were actually suggesting a little bit higher. And then we went into absolute chaos here. And how ironic, eh? I mean, gee whiz, this looks like it's almost completing this megaphone here. And, who's really getting hit the hardest here right now? I told you I wanted a short euro there, but really didn't set anything up. Who's actually getting really punished in this market? It's anything that depends on the commodity prices, i.e. the Canadian dollar, for example. And I am thankful to a certain degree that I kept not most, but a good chunk of my money in US dollars and kept it out of the Canadian dollar, because the Canadian dollar is just going into free fall here. It's so scary. For our future, very, very dangerous. Welcome to chaos. I mean, this is just absolutely off, over the top. But it is what it is, and we got to get through this. And if it's one thing, I think that the other side sort of challenged me when my wife, and really I think I got a really, really special treat by them actually letting her come back and see me after she passed. And she told me, Brian, you have this opportunity to make a real positive difference in this world. And it's in times like this is actually where I think that I can do my best job. Where we just, let's slow down. Let's maybe take some time. What is your plan? Why are you risking your money? What is it you want to get out of all of this? Do you understand the concept of trading setups? Having multiple unrelated reasons to justify you risking your hard-earned money. What are appropriate risks? And then the irony of all of this is that people are going to be wrapped up in the short term. And you don't realize that, of course, we're actually, right now, all we're doing is we're going through hitting the reset button. Every economic cycle, we have to do this. It's just like clockwork. And usually through recessions, the stock market loses about 50% of its value. So, let's keep this in perspective. And the interesting thing you see on the S&P 500 futures chart, there are gaps up top. So we will be back up top here at some point down the road. I thought it was interesting today. The headlines are all about when Mr. Trump was first elected and how price action has done nothing but more than just go down and basically take his presidential election gains away from him. But more importantly, on the actual election event, do you see this funny price action down here? And you also see this gap right there. Boom. So, ironically enough, we could actually make the argument there's a pretty big sort of technical objective for the market right there. I personally thought that he was going to get reelected, and his first or second year of his second term, we're going to see the market come down. But maybe they're just going to bring this market right back down while he's still in office. So according to the futures markets, we still got a little bit further to go. But keep in mind, this is delayed. And if I understand correctly, the market's actually even lower than this right now. I see just in real time looking at FinViz. You can see we're right on our lows here. And the sort of headlines that I'm reading right now are now getting worse than 87 crashes. But I did see a headline that they were sort of talking about how we've given back all of Trump's gains. So, man, what a crazy time to be involved in the markets, eh? So, if we think 50% haircuts through recessions, what is 50% of 3393? Let's call it 3400. So that to me sounds like about 1700 or so. So that's down in here. So what I've been sort of suggesting to people is I wouldn't be surprised through this April pivot. There's some sort of bounce taking us into June. That's our next sort of big celestial event. And then maybe what that does is that sets up the ultimate sort of crash scenario to take us down into those 50% levels for recessions. So you can see just eyeballing this, that takes us down into that 1700 area. So that's sort of what I'm thinking right now. And also, too, if you just sort of eyeball this, you can kind of see this is looking very head and shoulders-y now, eh? So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of reprieve following that April pivot. We get sort of a phew, everything's fine. We rally into June, July seasonal top, which is pretty normal for the stock market anyway. And then the real fireworks develop heading into November. And that, interestingly enough, that's right around that big. And ironically enough, this is the big one that I'm worried about, is out in November. This, ironically enough, this is just the pre-show. The preview, right? There, yeah, we're watching the cartoons at the beginning of the movie back in the 1930s right now. We haven't even got to the main event. So get ready, folks. It's going to be one hell of a wild ride here. Interesting, too, to notice that now, previously what you like to see in stock market corrections, think non-correlated assets, what you like to see is you like to see the stock market going down and the bond market going up, which just shows that money's coming out of stocks and going into bonds. On all that public talk, $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. You want $1 trillion? Here's $1 trillion. There's $1 trillion. We got trillions just falling out of our pockets. You do? Okay. Anyway, shake it though. The bond market has been rattled here. And this is where, the final sort of shoe into the end of the month. That's what I'm sort of thinking is if the bond market starts puking out here, then we have real problems. Because in essence, that's basically our whole world is a credit world. And if the market just says, fuck it, we're not taking your paper anymore, and it just seizes up and dumps, all hell could break loose. So get ready, folks. We're no bottoms yet. And that April event is still a week or two away. I'm not in a big hurry to call any bottoms here whatsoever. We had sort of talked recently about how the oil market flashed, through here when we lost these key lows. I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of oil, man. I don't even want to touch this. I don't even want to look at oil. And sure enough, man, this thing just keeps collapsing. And I was a little surprised that we couldn't find any traction off of that AB equals CD. And this, ironically enough, that's a new M off of that harmonic level. That is a huge failure there. And, just for kicks, I run these little algorithms. And the rule is that when the algo goes uber bull or uber bear, you take the first market structure signal if we're still uber, so that's breaking this low, again, risking against these highs, and you shoot for a 2-to-1. Well, that takes us down to like $10, $11 a barrel here. Holy frijoles, what a mess. So I'm not in any hurry to touch oil whatsoever right now. Not at all. So risk on, risk off. It is risk off up the butt, but interestingly enough, even risk off assets are coming under pressure. Notice the gold still can't find a friend here. We are in chaos. As I showed you, Canadian dollar, what a nightmare there. And of course, thank you very much, Mr. Market, trying to keep Brian nice and humble. I had a fucking kick-ass trade idea here. And the sons of bitches stopped me out by one tick. One goddamn tick. Oh, well, if anything, what do they say? Those who the gods wish to destroy first make drunk with power. Although I don't think I ever had any power to begin with, but oh well. As for the corn, given the broader market situation, should we really be looking for huge rallies out of Bitcoin right now? I don't think so. Maybe, and you can see stocks are breaking new lows. There's no bottom there yet at all. So, and I've sort of suggested here recently that I like the idea that if this is really a bottom, what we need to see is some sort of sign of divergence from our momentum indicators. We did get flashes that Willie was stupid, so I think that's a good sign. You really shouldn't be a seller down here. We don't have that divergency just yet, but I could totally see a nice little dump, on that event. That's going to be a huge red candle. Sky's falling. It's a mess. But by the time the end of the day rolls around and maybe, we make new lows and we're pressing lower and everybody's, sky's falling. And then the market slowly works its way back up and reverses, and we're back. We have now officially put in a bottom with a divergence. So maybe we come down here and then go up and then do that. And then we can start saying, all right, now we can start hunting structure. So it's still too early for a guy like me to get too jazzed about the long side. And, of course, comments about the stock market, I don't think that should surprise anybody. As it stands just in the short term, we've talked about this lots recently. Top of the range seems to be about $6,000. Bottom of the range about 3,800. Remember MEX and stuff, they went down to like 3,500, so we could see that dip where the forwards markets test those lows. These cash markets go to new lows, create those divergences, and then we turn back up. But that's still a very, very long way away. No hurry here whatsoever. And of course, there is that April window. Not in a hurry to really do anything through this, which sucks because you guys are like, well, I want to see something new. But the message has been basically the same since we dumped here. Now we have to just sit and wait. Wait for signs of indicator confirmation. Wait for signs of W's. Then we can get back bullish again. Until then, I can't do anything. I've talked to you guys recently about ideas that I would be interested in buying. Same sort of thing. Want to see signs of bottoms. These prices have been brought right back down to the original lows. So I'm more than happy now to join the gang. Just got to see some sort of signs of bottoms. I thought it was really interesting. And again, it's a testament to the idea that there's always a bull somewhere. And why it's a good idea to have a nice diversified portfolio. It turns out that there was a coin that actually enjoyed a nice little rally here today, Steam It. And we had a bunch actually, I don't know whether this is the best illustration. I think actually the Trex chart's actually a little better. Where are we here? Trex, there we go. And I noticed that Trex is up to their games again with U.S. customers. If you're a U.S. customer on Trex, be careful. Hearing a lot of feedback that they're freezing accounts again, so be forewarned. But here's a great example where and actually I was even showing this for the kids in the broiler chicken or in the daily brief here this morning. Really good example where basically flatlining. We love to see that. You can see the RSI starting to put in W's, break down trend lines. Of course, Willie was nice and stupid. Keep in mind, this is a weekly price chart. You've probably heard me talk about weekly W's before. We love weekly W's. So, you'll notice that she came down, rallied up, came down, tested these lows repeatedly, kept turning back up. My hunch is Justin Sun probably saw this chart and went, fuck it, man, this is a buy. I got to buy it. And then, of course, he wanted to manipulate it. And actually, I was really pleased because what I've heard recently was that he basically tried to go to all the other crypto exchanges, all to his buddies, and basically hijack their network and manipulate the price to his liking. Which, in my opinion, if he had gotten away with that, that would have set a very, very, very bad precedent for this space. The fact that they've basically locked up his coins, if I understand correctly, that's the news here, has actually translated into rallies. And, of course, TRIers, as soon as the price doubles off of the bottom, guess what they're doing? So, I was exceedingly pleased when I woke up this morning. People were like, woohoo, banging out doubles on Steam. Look at me, I'm a rock star. And I'm like, way to go, man. Just goes to show there's always a bull somewhere. So, build your shopping lists. That's what I'm doing right now. I won't get into some of the names we reviewed in our TRI SOF club last night. I'll tell you one thing. Not buying oil and not even interested in oil. And frankly, I am not a commodities bull anymore. I don't like commodities. Love doing things like buying stocks that are trading at below what the cash is on the balance sheet. I've shown you a couple names like that recently. I'll probably be watching for some of these hospitality names. Believe it or not, actually, I think there's going to be some options trades. Like you saw my hot. I mean, I'm just going to leave that thing alone. Just let it settle down before throwing any more money at it. They always say it's a good idea not to throw good money at bad ideas. That was clearly a bad idea of mine. Way to go, Brian. But I'm just going to let the dust settle there. But something like Carnival Cruise Lines. While there is no signs of a bottom yet, that's absolutely certain. We're starting to get into levels where this is starting to look attractive from an options perspective. These options have come down even further. We did these numbers overnight. And, just a 50% roll of the 52-week range. I'm not expecting this thing to go to new highs, trust me. But if we can start getting W's and stuff to come in on the daily charts, you can see dailies just look like a train wreck right now, but we're definitely oversold. We're trying to form a little bit of divergence here, but I think it's going to need a bit more work. Obviously, the selling is just absolutely rampant right now. And if we can get a nice little W to come in here over the next couple weeks, gee whiz, I'm going to be really looking at a call there. I'm not going to touch the actual story of Carnival through this video. It would take way too long to break it all apart. All I'm going to simply say is pull up the fundamentals. They're trading extremely cheaply right now. And the one good thing I like about these cruise ship stocks is there's no refunds. Store credit, but you're not going to get a refund. So anybody who bought a ticket, it's not like they have to give the money back. It's just they'll take their vacation a year or two from now. So be it. Does this thing need 6 months or so to form some sort of base to actually, all right, the damage is done. Let's clean it up. Could be. This would be nothing more than just playing simply a dead cat bounce to try and fill in some of these gaps. But we're nowhere near a trade right now. It's on my shopping list. And that's basically what I'm doing right now is I'm just going through the market, looking for ideas that are trading at the bottom ends of their ranges, and they're just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And should I see W's come in, then I'll start thinking about maybe risking a bit of money. But like I said, it's probably not going to be for a week or two. Okay, I've talked way too much here today, but hope you guys got some value out of all that. I really do like the idea that I want to sort of just be a calm voice for the public. While it may seem absolute chaos right now, believe it or not, this actually is pretty normal. We are at the end of a very, very long economic cycle. We have to hit the reset button and move from the baby boomers generation to the millennials generation. Ironically enough, Kevin was even telling me here before we got the video going, I've been saying the same damn message for like 2 years now. And now the reset is finally here. So, welcome to reset. Try not to take too many big bets through the reset. Once the base has come, then let's rinse and repeat. We'll start the whole game all over again. But it might be a little while before that reset button is fully hit. Remember, we got a nasty celestial event happening here in the short term, but the really big one is actually in November. So, party. All right, everybody, I think I'll leave the rant at that for today. Take it easy. I'm not going anywhere. I'll just be the voice of reason coming in on a daily basis just to say, you know what, this actually isn't too out of the ordinary. Slow and steady. Build your plan. Really vet the reasons why you actually are spending money on any of these particular assets, whether it be cryptocurrencies, stocks, commodities, currencies, whatever. And, of course, don't take too much risk. All right, have yourselves a great day. All the best, and bye for now.